In this section, we're going to take a look at templates and how you can use those with your Backbone application. Now, I like to think of templates as sort of like a blueprint for your view, with little placeholders for things that you want to substitute in for different values. Perfect example would be a form view that has different form inputs, and you want to pass in an object and have those different values in your object map to those form elements so that you can then update that model inside of your application. Another example would be if you wanted to create a list and you wanted to loop over each element in that list and append it to an unordered list element. You could do that using templates as well. So there's lots of uses for templates. Now, why would you decide to use a template versus just having your strings defined and concatenating your strings together and doing all the looping inside of your view the way we had it with the other list items? The main reason is that that takes a lot more computational memory and power to concatenate strings instead of using these templating engines. Also, you can separate out your templates, which are your view, from a lot of your logic, which is based in your controller. So this is all about getting that clean separation between your views, your models, and your controllers, and templating is a really great way to do that. And you can also load your templates dynamically if you want to, so you can keep them separate. There are several popular templating libraries like Handlebars or Mustache, but _JS comes with its own basic templating engine, and so I've decided to use that for this course. Let's look at our first example here. In the top blue block, we have an example of a template. You can see it's simply a script tag that has a type of text/template. I give it an ID so I can actually identify and use that template inside of my render method. And also I have my list element there displayed with an angle bracket, percent equals, and then whatever the value is that I'm passing in for that I want to substitute. Now I have the word value. It could be name, it could be title, it could be age, it could be any key value pair that you have inside of a JSON object that you're passing into your template to be rendered. In the second block, we have our list view, and you'll notice in the initialize method I've added a new variable called template. So I define this .template and I set it equal to _.template, and then I go in and I select the item container div and I pull out all the HTML that's inside of that, and then I pass that into my template method. And you'll see the underscore used. That's because I'm using the underscore JavaScript library templating engine. So that's how you refer to a template. Then down below in the render method, I've left out some code, but I'm highlighted the most important piece where I'm actually selecting my element and I'm appending this .template, and then I pass in my JavaScript object. And that object has one key value pair. The key is called value, and the matching pair is hello backbone. So what this will do is it will substitute hello backbone for the value inside of my template. So let's go ahead and take a look at that in our browser. I'll click on template 1, and we get hello, goodbye, and hello backbone. So hello and goodbye are those original list items that I was appending, but now I'm appending one additional item which is being based off of a template that says hello backbone. Now in our next example, template 2, we start to bring all of the pieces together. we're going to have our model and our collections, our wine model and wine collections from earlier. We can combine that with our view, and now with this fourth element, the template, we're going to actually get all of our wines. We're going to loop over each of our wines, and inside of that function we're going to pass in the individual model, the individual wine, and inside of that I'll say wine to JSON, and that will then get rendered to my template and appended to my element. So you'll see here up in the render method I've actually defined a couple variables. Instead of having to keep using the this keyword to say this dot template or this dot $ element, I'm just reassigning those to a local variable called element and template. It's just to make the code a little bit more concise, a little bit easier to read instead of having this all over my code. That's just something that is commonly used inside of Backbone. It's just a convention. I'll go back to my browser now. And if I click on template 2, you can see that it renders my my app as well as the one wine that is inside of my collection. But I want to add another wine to my collection now. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a new wine here. I'm saying next wine is equal to a new wine, and I'm passing in Robert Mondavi. So I'll say next wine. And now, if I go to my wine app and I call render again, oh, actually I have to create it first, sorry. I'm going to add, I'm going to create this wine inside of my wine collection. So I've added that. Let's just go ahead and say wines to JSON just to see what's inside there right now. So we've got our two objects. We've got Claude Pegas and we've got Robert Mondavi. And now I actually want to update my view here again. So I'm going to go ahead and call wineapp.render. And there we see the Robert Mondavi wine was added. And we can do this as much as we want. If we wanted to add Clos de Vol, we add a new wine, we create the wine, and now if we render, we get it, our list view is updated again. So as you see, as the collection changes, we can always re-render our application. And what you'll see coming up is that we will actually have our view listen for event changes in our collection. And when that happens, you can guess it's then going to call the render method on itself. So when the view sees the model change, it will observe the model in the collection. This is called the observer pattern. It will see the change happen, and it will see that event, and it will then say, oh, I need to re-render myself. So that's how we're getting that separation, and the view is actually has a little bit of intelligence. It knows that it needs to re-render itself when it sees that event. So that concludes our talk on templates.